Card Junkies.
How you guys doing today? Tommy T.
And Hobbitcrom here.
Thanks for joining us back again. We appreciate all the support and love that we've gotten over the last couple weeks. We're here today with the new deck. This is Tommy's bullshit. Because it's some bullshit.
Yeah, let me tell you. You're like, hey Hobbit, I want you to check out this deck. I named it Tommy's Bullshit. There's 80 cards in it. Okay, I'll look through it. That's 4 decks, Tommy. You're like, no, it's just one. And I'm like, next thing you know, I'm like, alright, let's get this going. And now we ended with Tommy's Bullshit 1. I'm sure there'll be 3 more later.
There'll be 3 more later. So, what this one's going after is just jank as fuck. But it's all for fun. You know what I mean? If you love the game, you love what you do, and you love what you play. So first off, we're going to start it off with 7 islands.
6 swamps.
We're going to go with 4 fetid pools, the cycle, so you can, draw cards at the late turn, whatever you need. Maybe if you need a card early game as well.
Also good to play on turn 1 for a dual land, that way you have all colors, access to both colors early on if need be.
Then we're going to move on to 4 sunken hollows. This is the one that you have to have fewer than 2...
You need to have 2 or more basic lands, and it comes into play on tap.
I knew that.
We'll get through it, Tommy. We'll get through it.
Couldn't think of it. Then we're going to go with 2 sanctums of ugin. Because of some of the later cards that we're playing in this, we need that just to dig through them, or the deck is what I meant. Dig through it.
So this is Tommy's first. I'm making Tommy speak about his deck for the first time, and so bear with him.
I'm typically the quiet one. You know how it's the only one. I'm like, all right, let's do this.
Good man right here. He had to. He gave me an idea to work with the deck, so I ran with it, and about 5 hours later, I figured it out. But we got it.
So as far as 1-drops, we're running none of them, because fuck that. We don't need them. We're going to piss you off in the late game.
Being turn 30?
Turn 30. We're still in this. So let's run it back to our 2-drops. We're running 2 contingency plans. Why? We want to discard cards. We want to stack our deck the way we want to play it. Just so we can get what we need. You technically don't got to discard, but I suggest it.
So part of the other thing with the contingency plan is what Tommy is saying here, is that we want some of our creature cards in the graveyard for something that we're going to talk about in our 3-drops. That allows it to be more useful there than in our hand at times. And so that's the point of the contingency plan.
Then we're going to 3 negates, just so we can be prepared for anything that comes into play that we need to counter. Not necessarily creatures, because we'll move on to those because we have answers for those as well, but we want answers for other things that come into play, especially in the meta.
Right, such as Marvel Works, Planeswalkers, removal spells, anything that's going to slow us down from getting to where we want to be in the game.
Yeah. So now we're going to move on to our 3-drops. We're running 4 trophy mages. What we want to do is, this is falling back on what Hobbit was saying, is we want to pull out what trophy mage does is when it's a 1 blue, 2 colorless, and when you play it, enters the battlefield, you get a dig through your library for a only 3 cast artifact.
Boom. You got it, Tommy.
So,
see? You know cards and stuff.
And things, sometimes. What we're digging for is our soul separator. What soul separator does is, I'll explain that here in a little bit, and then our filigree familiar. Pedigree.
Vet life.
Hell yeah.
I mean.
But it lets us pull one of those out of our library. Then we're going to move on to 4 disallows. This moves on into back on planeswalkers and just activated abilities, mana cost and everything. It just cancels it out real early in the game or late game. One of our answers to late game was when planeswalkers ultimating. Boom, just cancel it out, get rid of it, kill spell automatically. Then we're going to go move on to, we're running 1 filigree familiar. Filigree.
Fet life.
One
Fet life familiar.
We're running him to for our Elder Deep Fiend, and we'll get back into that later into the deck. Next, we're moving on to 3 soul separators. And what soul separator does is it 3 to cast, 3 colorless, 5 to pay, tap, sacrifice, and you get to pick a creature card from your graveyard. It becomes a 1/1 spirit token with the ability of that creature, and then you get a zombie creature with the power and toughness of that creature, and the soul separator is sacrifice.
It comes in the zombie's power and toughness equal to the toughness of the creature.
Yes, I explained that.
I thought you said it the other way, right?
No.
It comes into play as the power and toughness of the creature. Because when you bring back the tree predictions, comes back as a 13/13, not a 0/13, right?
No, it comes back as a 0/13.
Does it?
Yes, it does.
Oh, it shows you that you know more than I do. Though.
So now we're moving on to our 4 drops. This is where the combo gets into it. Is we're running 4 Tree of Perditions, and the Tree of Perdition is a 1 black, 3 colorless. It's a 0/13, and it has tap. Target opponent gains his life total becomes 13 life. Obviously, really jank. But if used with the Soul Separator, it becomes a 1/1 spirit token. Tap it. Target player is at 1 life. With a zombie creature that's a 0/13. Can't go wrong with that. That's fucked up. And nobody uses it.
That's not a lie. That makes Shock more viable. Because everybody, because remember that's like over at F&M, that guy was like, why would you run Shock? And I'm like, Magma Space so much better. I'm like, because I could hit you in the face with it.
Fucking Captain Insano.
Right?
Then we're going to move on to 3 Triskaphobias. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose 1 target player. Target with the life total of 13 loses the game. Each player gains 1 life, or target
Or each player loses 1 life.
Or each player loses 1 life. So there's another win con in there. Then we're going on to 2 Yaheenn's Expertise. Why we want board wipe? We can channel into our Trophy Mage, our Soul Separator, or our Filigree Familiar. It's actually really dope. So with the Filigree Familiar, we can go into our Elder Deep Fiend, but we'll get back on that.
Alright, so another thing before Tommy moves on with the Yaheenn's is that if you do cast a creature after the Yaheenn's Expertise does not affect the creature you are casting. It happens after that spell resolves.
As the stack.
Right, so the spell resolves, then you cast Trophy Mage. So if somebody tries to argue with you at F&M, or any local tournament, or whatever you're doing, or with your buddies on the kitchen table and you want to punch them in the mouth, whatever's going on. It doesn't affect that way. And like we've said in the past videos, if you have any questions or things like that, we're more than willing to answer them in the best way possible.
In a timely manner.
Right.
So
when I learn to read.
Now we're running into our split card. We're running 2 Never Returns. To kill a creature or a planeswalker, or pretty much, one of the 2 that threatens us at the moment. Then Return comes back. This one I can't explain because I can't remember the card.
Because you never use it.
I never use it.
You exile a creature card in your graveyard, in a graveyard from the game, and you gain a 2/2 zombie token.
Okay, yeah.
And it's a forecast. So Never is 3, Return is 4, and the reason why it's split into basically our 7 drop is that its total converted mana cost is 7, so you can't cast it off Yaheenn's, although we'd like to. But it's one of those things where after people started breaking the split cards in Modern, they had to adjust it to where the converted mana cost was a totality instead of just one or the other and allow it to be fused.
Yeah.
So that was happening in that.
I remember using some of those fusion cards, you know what I mean? And then
Right.
What was it in that one deck that I was using?
Your Tron?
Yeah, the Tron. I built a real fucking janky Tron with Death and Taxes and
Expertise.
Expertise.
Yeah.
I forget what split card that was, but yeah, it was pretty jank, and I had a lot of argument over it.
Breaking and entering?
Breaking and entering, yes.
Like breaking and entering because, Bobby didn't like it, but Bobby's mom loved it.
So now we'll move on to our 8 drops. We're running 3 Elder Deep Fiend. It has an emerge of 7. This falls back onto the Filigree Familiar, where we want to just typically sacrifice it. That goes down to a 4 emerge cost, making it a lot easier to drop in. And then it also taps 4 target permanents.
and they don't tap during their opponent's next untap step.
Yes. So actually really, really dope, and runs as a second win con for us other than the Tree of Perdition. Then we're moving on to our X drops. We're running 2 pools of Tomorrow because,
Card draw is life.
Card draw is life.
Especially in a control game where you're always digging for either counter spells, answers, combo pieces, win cons, whatever you really are looking at that time period. Like, Pull from Tomorrow really just is a great card like that in the format. And really allowed other decks rather than just energy decks to have draw spells that were actively good.
Yeah. Excuse me. So now we're going to move on to our sideboard. We're going to run 1 other negate, just to answer whatever you have.
Fill out the playset.
We're going to run 4 transgress the mind. We want to pull whatever you have out of your hand, following with labor the heart.
Well, the thing is too is when you're playing against Marvel or against Ulamog's, you're able to target that because labor the heart can't target legendary permanents.
No, but transgress the mind can.
Right, so we're using that as a secondary option for that if we are playing that sort of matchup where we need to hit those things.
Then we're moving on to 4 Lost Legacy.
We've explained this before in our past deck text, but it allows you to pick a creature or enchantment or stuff like that, and not artifacts though, which is important, which is why Dispossess was printed in Omnium Kit, but allows you to pick that, and then you look at their hand, library, and graveyard, remove all of them from the game. So another answer to Ulamog. I wish we were playing it.
Yeah, we played it. We lasted. What was it? It was turn 26 or 27, and they had 2 Ulamogs on board, and we lasted. We lost the game, but there's potential in this deck.
Right. So if you have any tips or ideas, please let us know. But continuing back to the sideboard, we're going to fill out the playset of Yaheenn's Expertice because servos, tokens, death and taxes, whatever you want to call it, aristocrats. if you love MTG Goldfish by any means,
Massive little armies.
right? Great for that. 2 more Never Returns to fill out the playset for playing Planeswalker Control or Blue-Green Crush, which is now coming back pretty strong. And then 2 Deadlock Traps, which I know is weird. We brought it up in one other deck tech before this, but Deadlock Trap is a unique add to it because we can actually tutor it with Trophy Mage. And it's another answer to Planeswalkers and activated abilities for 2 energy. So it definitely helps buy us a couple turns when we need it to. So that's one of our sideboard options for Trophy Mage. Because when we were test playing it, me and Tommy were sitting down like, crap, man. He's like, I really want to use Soul Separator and Tree of Perdition. Like, awesome. How about we run 8? He's like, Hobbit, I'm pretty sure I can read better than you, man. What do you mean? He's like, you can only have 4 in a deck. And I'm like, but Trophy Mage.
Things, bro. But things.
Things say I can tutor for this. So Trophy Mage came into it. I actually only found out about Trophy Mage because I was building a jank Tommy deck at one point in time.
But that's Tommy's bullshit right there. We appreciate you watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll keep the videos coming.
Yep, and I want to say a big thanks to Tommy for being brave enough to explain this in his own Tommy words. Without him, I wouldn't actually be doing any of this stuff either, so pretty stoked about it that we actually got to meet because of Magic, and now look at us doing something kind of cool together.
Completely 2 different worlds, same personalities, and we have one very similar interest, Magic.
Right. Hell yeah.
So, thanks again for watching. Check us out on our next deck tech. Is it Hobbit? One of Hobbit's little jank decks.
And there'll be is a Hobbit series because I have a little obsession. But thanks again. My name is Hobbit Crom. This is Tommy T.
Have a great night, guys.